Good evening. Welcome to PDC's City Council debate for Norcross for this year. Keep in mind that we don't have another election for 2 years because we now have 4-year terms. And for some of you, that may be a little bit different than it used to be. So keep that in mind when you vote. I want to thank the folks from PDC that come on a regular basis to help out with tonight's event. And keep in mind that voting is at City Hall. You know, a lot of times people go over to Hopewell, and it's not Hopewell, it's only at City Hall. There is early voting, and that'll be on the city website. For those of you that wonder, we will take no questions from the audience. The questions that are going to be handled tonight by our moderator, Jim Blum, went directly to Jim. They didn't go to anybody else. I'm curious as to what they are, and I'll hear them just as you will. The event will be videoed. It will be available when we get it on our end, and we can get it pushed back out. So if you have somebody that wanted to come tonight that couldn't, just let us know. We'll get it to you. Please turn off your cell phones or anything else that you have that might disrupt the event. I did this once at church, and the priest, you know, he was talking, and the phone went off, and we're looking around to see who did it. And all of a sudden, he reaches up in his garment and turns it off and just keeps on going. So a little housekeeping: the restrooms are out toward the front door and to the right. And the debate will end tonight at 8 p.m. I guess regardless, I mean, there's 7 people on the stage, and there's a lot of things to get through. So without too much of a delay, I want to introduce Jim Blum, who will be our moderator, who was the moderator for our last debate, and he did such a great job, we invited him back. Jim's a lawyer over at Peachtree Corners, so he really doesn't know anything about what's going on over here, so this is good for him. And
not totally boring.
Well,
I'm not sure you're helping me.
Jim is a real estate and business litigator in Peachtree Corners, and went to Loyola in New Orleans to law school. And I'd like to welcome Jim, and congratulations to all that are on the stage, and I hope it goes great.
Good evening, everybody. Thanks for coming out tonight. This is always a great night when the candidates who put in so much effort get a chance to share their views with you guys. Thanks for PDC for putting this on tonight. As Chuck indicated, the questions were submitted to me in advance. We don't take any questions from the audience. I'm sure you guys have plenty of questions to ask. Of course you do. The candidates ain't going anywhere. When we're done, ask away. Ask away as soon as we're done. Not every question that was submitted to me is going to get asked tonight. As you might guess, you know, we got 2 hours. We got to get through a bunch. Opening statements are 2 minutes each. So times 7, that's 14 minutes-ish, 15 minutes is where we're going to be. So imagine 27 questions, we'd be here till after midnight. So I'm sure that a lot of you submitted questions. I'm sorry not all of them are going to get asked tonight. After the candidates are done tonight, they're going to be sticking around. They'll answer whatever question you got. As Chuck said, I'm not a citizen of Norcross. I won't vote in this election. I'm a resident of Peachtree Corners. Cell phones on silent. I had to check mine a few moments ago. So y'all please do that. So here are the general rules, guys. Opening statements are going to be 2 minutes for each candidate. B, sitting in the front row, is going to have a yellow flag and a red flag. The yellow will go off at 15 seconds. Excellent. Vanna White for tonight. The yellow will go up at 15 seconds. The red will go up at 0. Please stop at 0. After the opening statement, we're going to do a panel question. And that means everybody gets a chance to answer in 2 minutes. And then we're going to roll into several individual questions. Individual questions will be posed slowly but surely. Everybody's going to get to answer for 2 minutes. And then the other candidate, or candidates, as the case may be, will get to respond for 1 minute. But everybody's going to get an opportunity to answer a question and give a 2-minute response. Now, we've got one race that has 3 candidates. So in terms of individual race questions, we're going to have everybody gets 2, and then the first race here will get a third. That way the third candidate will have a chance to answer for 2 minutes. Does that make sense, y'all? All right. And then after the individual race questions are over, then we're going to have another panel question in which everybody gets a chance to answer for 2 minutes. And then we're going to have a closing statement again, 2 minutes. Now the questions for the individual races, they're not all going to be the same. And so to the extent that you want to, oh man, I wish they'd asked me that question, address it in your closing statement. It's the best thing that we can do, all right? Again, the yellow at 15 seconds, and then red, please stop at 0 seconds, or wrap it up as best you possibly can. We would appreciate that. Again, we only have so much time tonight, so let's get right to it. Let's start with opening statements. Everybody gets 2 minutes. We're going to start with the first race here based on a coin toss. Jimmy Redding, you'll go first. 2 minutes.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is amazing that everyone showed up and came out in full force. Really appreciate those that are supporting me with the black shirts on. It's amazing. Thank you very much. I'm a resident of Norcross. I've been a resident for 7.5, almost 8 years. And let me tell you, this charming town is amazing. Within that 7.5, almost 8 years, I was able to rebuild my home. So my home has become a different place. It's become my real home. That real feeling of home itself. And then in that time frame, I built out the B&W Burgers, Buns, and Brews. 7.5 years, that's a lot to do. And that's one thing that I want to press when if I ever become council, is the fact that I'm going to move stuff forward. I'm not going to be standing still. I want to move things forward for you people, and I want to listen to you people, hear what you have to say. That's the idea. 2 years, one now. The idea is to listen, hear what you have to say, and take what you have and move it forward, and move it in a timely manner. I think that we've been stagnant. You look at Duluth, you look at Norcross, you look at Dorville, you look at Chamblee. We're in the middle and we're being surpassed. You look at the Beaufort Highway corridor, the people can't walk across the street to get to parks.
Jimmy, can you back up off the mic? I think that's like feedback. Sorry. Just stand back a little bit. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you very much. My voice, I got a horrible voice. So anyways, the Beaufort Highway corridor has been in transition for several years and we haven't moved forward on it at all. Why not? That area needs to be moving forward, just like Duluth. You look at Duluth. Duluth is going gangbusters. They've got it really going on. So with that in mind, think about who you're going to vote for come November 7th. If you want the stuff to stay stagnant, keep it stagnant. Thank you very much.
Appreciate it. Okay, so that wasn't a phone call. That was our timekeeper. That's okay. She's the only one that gets an excuse. Yeah, you can turn that off too, though. All right, Josh Bear, you're next.
Thank you, Mr. Bloom.
Jim, please. My father's Mr. Blum.
My name is Josh Bear, and I'm really grateful to be here tonight. I'm really grateful to have served on the council for a little while here. I'm grateful for city staff for being here tonight to facilitate all this. Grateful for the PDC for arranging this. This is democracy in action right here, and I think that's terrific for Norcross. You know, there's a number of elections around us that didn't have challengers, and I think that's pretty cool that we've got all this stuff going on right here in Norcross. So a little bit about me. My family and I, my wife is Amanda. We've been married for 23 years. We have 4 kids, Lincoln, Sabrina, Levi, and Eva, and they were all born right here in Norcross, technically at Northside, but they've lived their lives here in Norcross. And I work at my dad's business. He started it here in Norcross in 1980, and we've got a great team of folks, and our vision and mission is that we make yards look green and weed-free and all over Atlanta, so it's a pretty cool thing to be involved in, because I've been called a park nut before, and I'll wear that title gladly, but it just sort of runs in the veins of the family. So, like I said, I was elected to the council 9 years ago, and started serving in 2015 with Mayor Bucky Johnson, and one thing that's a real priority with me with the city is supporting our staff. the city manager, Eric Johnson, and definitely our chief, Bill Grogan. And I try to set aside time pretty frequently to have lunch with them, catch up with them, listen to them, see what I can do to support them better. I participated in the Leadership Winnette in 2018. That was a real treat, and so I'm going to wrap things up here. Just looking forward to this evening's discourse. Thank you all.
All right, Sonia Lopez, you're next. 2 minutes.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here. My name, yeah, you just heard, my name is Sonia Lopez. I'm emigrated from El Salvador in 1971 to Los Angeles, where I met my husband. I have 3 children, grown children, successfully professional, 3 grandkids. I run a non-profit organization, Asami ATL, who helps the low-income families, especially with children. My engagement in the community is intense. I serve on Public Art Commission on Norcross. I'm a member of the Neighborhood Co-op Ministry, member of Lions Club International, the founder of the first Latino Lions Club in Norcross, and I can go on and on and on. But I'm here because I want to represent all of you, not only the Hispanic community, but I do bring a unique voice to this city. More than 40% of the residents in Norcross are Hispanic, which are people is hardworking, and they have, oh my God, I'm sorry. I'm so excited. The community has a business. I want to represent all of you. Our community is multilingual, and the most important part here is that I want to work for all of you, for everybody.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much. All right, based on the coin toss, Marshall Cheek, you're next.
Yes, hi, my name is Marshall Cheek, and I'm excited about the prospects of serving Norcross City Council. My wife was 42 years, Patty, and I first started searching for the location in Norcross to call our own in 2019. As we walked through Norcross during this process, we soon realized what a quaint and friendly town Norcross really is. Everyone we passed said hi to us, everyone introduced ourselves, we just fell in love with it. I'm committed to listening to the residents of Norcross. As I've always done, I will strive to find win-win solutions to our issues. With over 40 years of successful business experience, community leadership, and public service, I hope to bring my knowledge and insight to the City Council. As a founder and CEO of Paulson Jeep Mechanical, a Norcross-based company, I have a unique perspective as a Norcross business owner and a Norcross resident. Being involved in the city is of utmost importance to me. I have the time and the energy necessary to serve the community. I'm currently Vice Chairman of Planning and Zoning and an active participant in PDC, and I'm also President of our Homeowners Association. Public safety is a primary concern of mine. We need to continue to reevaluate the salaries and compensation packages to ensure that we have the best police force that we can. I have made payroll for 25 years. I know what it's like to have to balance the budget. As a 43-year member of the construction community, I can bring a unique set of skills to the construction of the new city public safety building, which will be the largest construction project in Norcross's history. I can bring the project a wealth of knowledge and experiences that will help ensure that this project is completed on time, within budget, while utilizing the latest technology. We need to ensure that every tax dollar collected and spent is spent in the best interest of Norcross. My intense business experience lends itself to advocating and advising to our Norcross residents. I believe in fostering a thriving business environment to attract new investments, to create jobs, and increase our entrepreneurs. This is who I am, and this is why I'm running.
Thank you. Arlene Beckles, you're next.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome. Thank you for coming out. My name is Arlene Beckles, and I'm originally from Barbados. I immigrated to this country with $1,200 and the words of my mother in my head. If the streets of New York are not lined with gold, you know where you live. I know calling Norcross home, and I've lived here longer than I've lived in my birth country. I stand before you with a simple yet profound conviction. Our city must progress, and together we can make it happen. I'm running for city council because I believe in the power of community, the strength of unity, and the potential for positive change. And by change, many of you know that I have been engaged with the Norcross community since I moved here in 2003.
Excuse me, can you say something back there? It's really hard to hear. Can you turn the mics up?
It's on. Can you hear me now?
Maybe just a bit closer.
Right there.
Mics are too far away.
Is that better?
Yeah, just, there you go, just a little bit closer. That's all.
You want me to kiss the mic, right? Like other cities, we are facing challenges, and that demands thoughtful solutions. I am one of you, a resident who has cared deeply about Norcross for 20 years. I'm running to continue the forward momentum started by the leaders that came before me, along with transparency and accountability to you, my fellow residents. Yes, City Council, we do listen. What we need to do now is to address your concerns seriously and to continue to work tirelessly together. Together we can continue to grow our city in a way that it continues to strive, where every voice is heard and every neighborhood flourishes. Join me as I continue to make this journey with you. We're all here to succeed together. Thank you.
All right, great, thanks. Based on the coin flip, Chuck Case, you're next.
Thank you, Jim. Hello, everybody. My name is Chuck Case. Pardon the scar on the face and the arm. I did get in the fight at the street and not a train, so my apologies for that. I moved from Indianapolis 2 years ago to this wonderful community with my wife, Janine, and my daughter, Alexa. My daughter is currently a law student at Florida State University right now. And of course, the unofficial mayor of Norcross, my dog, Hadley, a golden retriever. So we moved here actually because of the weather. And once we found this wonderful community, we never looked back on Indiana and said, what a wonderful place this is. Absolutely enjoy living here. I have spent 30 years in IT sales, working for healthcare, government, education accounts, working on solutions for those various entities, and bringing solutions to the table for all my customers. My passion is history. I belong to a lot of history organizations throughout the United States. Currently serve on the Historical Preservation Board here in Norcross. Again, we were blessed to find this city and could not be happier with our choice, and really think that we could bring things forward and moving Norcross to the future. One thing that I would say is I bring a fresh perspective to the table. I'm not encumbered by past successes, nor am I encumbered by anything that hasn't happened in the past or did happen in the past. We must move this community from good to great. And by great, I mean maintain our historical infrastructure and image that we currently have, ensure clean streets, safe streets, support our schools and educators, demonstrate that Norcross is a place for everyone, not just some, maintain fiscal responsibility, and provide for business growth. I'll leave you with this quote: the mark of the city is how it treats its special places. Everybody does that right, but how it treats its ordinary ones is what makes this city great. And I'm convinced that as your representative in council, we can move from good to great. Thank you.
Andrew Hixson, you're next.
Hey y'all, I'm Andrew. I moved to Norcross in 2001. I got married at Little Went Park, and my first dance ever as a husband was right there. I love Norcross. I got to bring my daughter home to Norcross. This has been a great place. But the best honor has been representing you all for over 10 years. This experience has led me to understand the vast diversity we have in this community, to understand the hopes and dreams of everyone that comes and works and plays here. I've built or upgraded every single park in this city, I oversaw the building of our library and initiated many economic development opportunities. I replaced over 100 police cars, and I've received over 150 hours of GMA training. I led the city towards bike-friendly status and walk-friendly status, and I was an original member of the Norcross Sustainable Commission. This election is not about the past, though. It's about the future. Moving our city forward, embracing what we have, but keeping an eye on the future. We do not need to reimagine our city, because you can already imagine great things here. You can imagine taking your children to our park. You can imagine walking your dogs downtown. You can imagine enjoying everything that our downtown has to offer. But moving forward requires us to be proactive, not reactive. Being reactive will not implement our future highway master plan. It will not move us forward on any of our initiatives. We must work together to implement all of our comprehensive plans. We must work together with our parks and green space to connect our parks. We must ensure that our police officers are equipped and trained to handle the diversity and any of the things that come with our community. We must proactively address our power rate and our millage rate. I have a history of accomplishing the goals that the citizens have put before me. I have been successful yesterday. I will act today, and we will complete our projects tomorrow. Thank you.
Great, thanks y'all. Appreciate the statements and the willingness to abide by the time frames. B, thanks for keep doing this. Again, the yellow will be 15 seconds, the red will be wrap it up. All right, so we're going to move into the panel question portion. Every candidate will get 2 minutes to answer the same question. No rebuttal or anything like that. We're just going to, everybody gets 2 minutes. And here's the question. If you are an incumbent, what do you see as your greatest accomplishment while serving, or accomplishments? If you are new, what would you want to accomplish while in office? And we'll start down here with Josh.
Everybody, thank you, Jim. You know, some of the things that I think have been accomplished while I was on the council are not necessarily that exciting, but they're the type of things that keep Norcross a great place to live. You know, for instance, we had a pandemic that we haven't seen the likes of in 100 years, thankfully, and the city made it through that successfully, and council came together. We met weekly to try to make sure that we were there to support staff. We transitioned from a longtime city manager, Rudolph Smith, to our new city manager, Eric Johnson. That's a really key role in the success of the city, and we successfully pulled that off. And we've renewed Eric's contract for another 3 years to make sure that we have continuity. We've survived the Great Resignation. You know, there's been a lot of turnover on city staff, and because of council support for the city manager and for making sure that people were adequately paid and appreciated, we made it through that. And it hasn't been easy. I mean, anybody who's been involved in the business world knows that a lot of folks sort of mixed up where they were, and so it's been tricky to continue working well at the city, but I believe that we pulled that off. You know, I'm thrilled with being able to be involved with the Downtown Development Authority. There was a little bit of some rocky times that we made it through with the DDA. They're doing a terrific job. The Chairman, Jim Iyer, and I serve on that committee with the Will Council, and it's been amazing to be able to be a liaison there. And lastly, like I said earlier, I'm a little bit of a parks nut, so I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about Johnson Dean Park, Discovery Garden Park that we built out, the playground addition to Pinnacle Park, and those have been great accomplishments to see it done.
Great. Jimmy Redding, you're next.
Thank you very much. One thing I don't see in the city is the team aspect. And with the team aspect, I have a team aspect throughout all my businesses. And I think that's one of the reasons why my businesses are so successful. So what I would like to bring to the city of Norcross and the city council is the team aspect. Work together, move forward. Think about compromise. Nobody's compromising, nobody's working as a team. That's why we're stagnant. So that's one of my things I would really like to focus on is if I get in, I would like to get the council to work as a team and work on compromise. Secondary, we have parking issues. My business is being stifled because we have parking issues. I would like to work on parking. I'd like to finalize parking. We've been discussing parking for years. Nothing's ever been done. Why have we been discussing for parking? We need to finalize parking. That is a problem. We also need to finalize the Beaufort Highway Initiative. That's been talked about for years. Nothing's ever been done. I want to get in office. I want to make things move forward. And I want to work as a team. I want everybody to compromise and work together. Otherwise, nothing gets done. If nothing gets done, we're stagnant. And if we continue to be stagnant, we're going to be left behind. I'm not saying move anything with downtown. I love downtown. I've preserved my building. I even left it B&W because I wanted to preserve that name. B&W is significant. B&W's been there for 52 years. Wayne has been there for 52 years. That's a significant thing. Therefore, that was very important to me to keep that name there. So that in itself, the team aspect, think about that. Work as a team. Think about compromise, togetherness, not one. Thank you.
Thank you. Sonia Lopez, 2 minutes.
One of the things that I would love to work when I get, if you guys give me the opportunity to be in the seat, it will be bridging the gap. What that means is work on keeping the historic Norcross, work together with both ends of the city, bring all the community together, because that's what we need to do. We've been separate, each ethnic, each group, each culture is being separate, working apart. We need to come together. And that will be the only way that we can compromise, that we can make something to really feel like home for all of us, not for only one group. I feel that we can do this together, work together. I have the capacity to accomplish what I need to work. And I want to represent you to work and whatever that needs to be done. If I have to work with the city councils, do we need to work with our commissioners? Do I need to work whoever represents the county or the state? It has to be something that everything needs to connect. But and at this moment, we are disconnected. We need to be connected. We need to be together so we can accomplish whatever that needs to be done. We need to talk. We need to speak about our issues, our problems. Thank you.
Thank you. A refresher on the question as we move down the table. If you're an incumbent, what do you see as your greatest accomplishments while serving? If you would be new, what do you want to accomplish while in office? Arlene, you're next.
Okay, thank you. I came into office at the beginning of COVID, and as a new council member, I had to come up to speed really quick. I supported my peers in flight projects such as the South End development, the new police building, and employee retention, as well as I did the city's first IT risk assessment of our infrastructure at City Hall. As part of one of the things that I felt that I really accomplished was forming a committee, being part of the group that formed the committee for the ARPA funds. We were able to support our local businesses and some of our nonprofits during COVID. The next major accomplishment for me was shepherding our NPAC team through the city's first Master Arts and Cultural Plan. And along with that, we partnered with the county to do a big arts economic driving project where all 16 cities in Gwinnett County will benefit from this Master Arts Plan.
Marshall, you're next.
Okay, thank you. So, first thing we need to do is work together, like Jimmy said. We've got to come together as a community and stress what we want to do. What I'd like to see done is I'd like to see us sell downtown. I'd like to see us go out to all the development community, the restaurants that we'd like, businesses we'd like, and bring them to Norcross. So I'd also like to see us move forward on the Buford Highway Connect, the Buford Highway Comprehensive Plan. We've had the plan for 3 years and we've done very little on it. We need to move forward immediately on it. If we don't start now, we'll never get it done. So these are some of the things I'd like to bring up. I'd like to bring a sense of business to the community and a sense of what we can accomplish in that regard. So we've got to work together to get this, to get the concept of one Norcross together. So we've got to work for both sides of Buford Highway, all sides of Norcross, and this is what I hope to bring to you.
All right, great. Thank you very much for moving down the table. Again, a refresher on the question: if you're an incumbent, what do you see as your greatest accomplishments while serving? If you would be new, what do you want to accomplish while in office? Andrew.
You know, I mentioned I've been here for a long time, and it's been great to be a part of this community. I've accomplished quite a bit. Some of my highlights are our parks and green spaces. I spent 11 years in East Norcross, and a passion of mine was connecting East Norcross into downtown. We built, my pet project was Pinnacle Park, a park in the middle of the community that does not have access to a park. We're now working forward to connecting that to all of our parks. I've loved our parks, and I've had an opportunity, as I said, to get married in them, to spend a lot of your money upgrading our parks. Probably my proudest moment, though, is receiving feedback continually from the citizens. I imagined a place where I could get out and talk to residents and let them know what is going on and let them know what I want. I started our coffee with councils, which we now do monthly. I started our walks with council, which we do quarterly. I even had the idea to have a cookout in the middle of June and July in Thrasher Park. It's a great time to come interact with our staff and all of our residents. Economic development successes. Under my watch, we brought in FedEx, we brought in Hyundai. We've sold power to the Amazon facility, which as of yesterday has decided to move that entire fleet to all electric. Owning a power company is something that we need to take very seriously. The profits from that power company are used to supplement our general fund and hopefully lower our overall tax millage rate. These are great economic development wins. I'm excited that I had a chance to oversee them.
Chuck?
Yes, my opponent has said we do not need to reimagine. And my love of historic Norcross knows no bounds. But the community is mature. When I see a lot of the things that go on in city council, the majority are centered around historic Norcross, I begin to wonder about the other part of Norcross. Our success lies into bringing them up and enabling them. The Buford Highway Initiative is very important. We need to bring that forward. When I hear about parking, and we've had 10 years of parking studies and we're still talking about parking, things need to get done. We need to start looking at moving things quickly through the cycle, partnering with people, but ultimately it's up to you. This isn't an I did thing, or I'm going to do this, or I did that, or any of that. This is a we decision. And I agree with the team down here that communication is the key. Communication needs to occur between the citizens of this town and the council. And that is one of my major priorities, is to try to ensure that we have that communication flow. Bring this forward in a we concept to reimagine a portion of Norcross that is not reimagined and bring us into the future and bring success to this community.
Great, thank you guys, appreciate it. All right, so we're going to move into individual race questions at this point in time, and we're going to try to change the order rather than always going down this way. We're going to start with the race on the end of the table. The first question, and Chuck, you'll get 2 minutes to answer it, and then Andrew, you'll get 1 minute to respond. Here's the question. Oh, excuse me. I got that wrong. Apologies. Andrew, 2 minutes to answer this question. Chuck, it's like the 12th time I'm going to get something wrong tonight. So Andrew, you got 2 minutes to answer. Chuck, you'll get 1 minute to respond. What are your thoughts on the entertainment portion of the city budget?
We have a lot of entertainment ideas. We have our downtown parks where we have the Friday night concerts. We have the entertainment issues where we have concerts here, we have movies here. Programming for our residents is something that governments do. A lot of the programming that we do comes from a hotel motel tax, which is specifically used to draw citizens to our residents, to our community where they'll hopefully enjoy our downtown, where they'll hopefully come and eventually move here. The hotel motel tax is specifically used to draw in new residents. We have a lot of entertainment options. I think the best entertainment option that we have is simply to invest in our downtown. Downtown is an entertainment hub. We can go to restaurants, we can imagine ourselves walking down Skin Alley, where I consider our investment in Skin Alley Lights part of entertainment, part of placemaking. I do think that sometimes people wonder about having movies here and jazz here, or jazz in the alley. I think it creates a great place to imagine. I think it's a great place where people can come and enjoy. I'm always willing to look at our budget, and when its times are tight, sometimes we have to cut things that people love. I've made those decisions in the past, and I've had to live with the consequences. But I do think that we have a great place, lots of entertainment options, and I think that people really enjoy them.
Chuck, what are your thoughts on the entertainment portion of the city budget?
Yeah, my opponent brings up a good point, and that is we do need to make sure we have an ROI on every dollar we spend for budgeting. But activities do bring the people into Norcross. I'm always pleased to go to these concerts and everything and see how many people are not from Norcross, which is very interesting. I would actually like to see those expanded a little bit, say having a beer fest that some of the cities have around us. Kris Kringle Knock, I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with that. There's some towns that have that around Christmas time that is really a big draw for people. And I think ultimately we should talk to our business owners and see what our business owners want and have them discuss what opportunities exist. Because ultimately, at the end of the day, that's who we're trying to sponsor. We're trying to enjoy ourselves, but we really want our business owners to achieve success and move forward and be successful in the community.
Thank you very much. Arlene, you'll get 2 minutes to answer, Marshall 1 minute to respond. What are your thoughts on how to encourage current and additional business/retail in Norcross? Arlene.
There are 3 key things that CEOs look for when they're looking to move to relocate their businesses. Number 1 is school system. Number 2 is housing, and number 3, it is our parks and or entertainment for their staff. One thing that I could see happening is that our economic development team, they go out and they try to bring businesses in, especially the new types of retail that we are missing. Number 1 thing that we're missing is grocery stores. Number 2 is additional dining and shopping. We have a plethora of space with the Buford Highway Master Plan where we can use those spaces to bring retail development in. I would encourage my economic development team to partner with developers and to bring what our citizens need here to the city.
Thank you very much. Marshall?
Well, I'm committed to selling Norcross to the community. And I think we need the Downtown Development Office, the Norcross Development Office, the Office of Business Development, to all work together with the City Council. And we should be out selling this city. We should be going to developers and asking them what they need from us, whether it's additional parking or additional stormwater capabilities. We need to go to the various communities around here and look at what shops they have and encourage those people to relocate to Norcross or open a second location. So like Jimmy did. So we need to work on this selling of Norcross. It's a very, very simple concept. We've all got to be salesmen. We've all got to be salesmen.
All right, thank you. All right, right down here, guys. Josh, you'll have 2 minutes to answer. Jimmy and Sonia, 1 minute to respond. How can we improve our farmers market to appeal to a larger segment of the population? Josh, 2 minutes.
I was glad I didn't get some of those other questions. You know, I like nothing better than walking from my house downtown and walking through the farmer's market. I especially liked it when I could go just get out. There was just something magical. We would primarily buy some of the peaches, because I love peaches, and then some of the bread, and then my kids like the bath soaps. But you know, where the farmer's market is right now is a little tricky, because we're sort of spending more money in it than I feel like it's sort of returning back to the community in terms of value. So I personally think that the farmer's market should be reimagined, and you know, to my opponent Sonia's point, I think that there needs to be more collaboration with all parts of Norcross to drive that farmer's market. And because at the end of the day, I don't feel real comfortable about subsidizing the farmer's market a whole lot. I sort of feel like it should be able to stand on its own. And I know that we do invest a lot of money in events, and that is sort of like an event. But you know, that's my idea currently, is that I'd love to see where there could be more participation from the whole community in that. And I think it could be really something amazing.
Jimmy?
I personally like the idea, but on a standpoint of an ROI, if you're not getting your money back, then why are we doing it? If the public wants it, that's one thing. If you guys come to the board and say, hey, you really want this, I like this idea. Okay, so let's reimagine it. Let's go to other cities or other farmers markets and poach people, let them know we have this here in our city. You're welcome to come and sell your products to our constituents. And then let everybody know, communication, there's technology out there that we can communicate with the public. Let everybody know, not just Norcross, but outside the city of Norcross. Say, hey, we have this farmer's market. It's this day, this time. Come see it, come check it out, come buy some. Shop local. Where is the word shop local? Have you ever seen it anywhere? Does anybody do it? That's very important. If you live here, you need to shop local. Thank you.
Sonia?
Yes, one of the things, the most important part here is our community. We have to communicate, and we have to be open-minded and invite everybody. You know, somebody from the other side, put a sign. Around the city, I see many signs about the art splash. Do we have one sign over there? It's the same thing. We need to come together. If we want this city to flourish, if we want a project to really go up the next level, we have to make the people to participate, invite them. What do you think about this? What do you think that it will be the best way for you to work that works for you? Because I'm not doing it for me, I'm doing it for you. What is the best way you would like to see the farmers market?
All right, thank you. The next race question, individual race question will be posed. Let's start with Arlene and Marshall's race. Marshall, you have 2 minutes to answer. Arlene, 1 minute to respond. What are your thoughts about revitalizing the Buford Highway corridor?
It's time to do it. It's a big time to do it. We've had a plan for 3 years and we've done very little. I won't say nothing, but we've done very little. This is the key. The key to Norcross is the Buford Highway Connector. That's what drives our downtown. That's what makes this city what it is. We can revitalize this and we can make it happen. But we've got to sell it to developers. We've got to have public-private partnerships. We've got to go out to the community and find out what they want this to be. Do they want townhomes? Do they want more retail? Do they want a sign ordinance? What do we got to do to make this thing happen? And it is just a simple matter of going out to the community and selling it and talking to developers about what they want to build. Do they want to build townhomes? I don't know, but I'm finding out. And I'm going to find out what these developers want and what they're interested in building in this Buford Highway Connector. So it's a very simple concept. You just got to get out and talk to people. You got to get out and meet the developers where they are and find out what they're willing to build and what they want to build, and then see if it fits into our master plan. Do we want more apartments? I don't know. Do we?
Yes.
Do we want more single-family homes? Yes. want detached family homes? Yes. We want cluster homes? Yes. So this is just a matter of finding the right people to put these deals together. And we can help. We've got to help. We've got to get off our and go and do it.
Thank you. Arlene?
Okay, I am going to agree with Mr. Chief here on that point. Downtown is built out pretty much, so we have no place left to go than the Buford Highway Master Plan to bring that plan into fruition. We already put a stake in the ground with the Brunswick, and there's more that we can do. There is talk about park right across from the Brunswick. We've been discussing that. That is a great opportunity for us to get a second project going there. There's been talk about the post office as well as another apartment. I know you guys don't want to hear this. Another apartment type, mixed use type building opposite the Brunswick. So again, downtown is pretty much built out. We're going to definitely have to go across the highway and use our master plan.
All right, thank you. Excuse me. Next question will be for the race on the end of the table. Chuck, 2 minutes to answer. Andrew, 1 minute to respond. Why did the city remove the senior citizen property tax exemption? What are they doing to give senior citizens relief?
Tough question for the new guy, right? I mean, I think that's a very important consideration we always have with senior citizens and taxes and all that. Honestly, I was not here when they removed that, but I fight really hard for our citizens, senior citizens, and what they do. I think a lot of what we do is focused on sometimes looking at something on paper and maybe not making the right decision at the time, given the fact of the input of the citizens and everything that is there. Protecting our senior citizens should be the #1 right of anybody in this United States. They've given us so much. They've contributed their taxes. They contributed all of that. All I can say is that once in office, I would like to take a look at that, receive feedback, see what we can do for that. Because I understand that pain. My grandparents, all that, my parents are going through it right now. And I understand it, how important it is to give back to those who have given us so much. And I think what we need to do is sit down and discuss that as a city, see what our alternatives are, see if there's not a way we can fix that. And hopefully, if elected, I'll get the opportunity to do that.
Andrew?
I really wish I had 2 minutes to kind of explain that process because, in short, the tax exempt status that we gave seniors was illegal. There was a referendum passed maybe in 2004, 2005. The referendum passed here in the city of Norcross, and like all referendums, it must be sent to the state. The state does not allow us to do something like this. However, we enacted it way back when, and it just kept going. Our new city manager discovered that this tax exemption was in place, and because it was legal, he removed it. The question about what we do going forward is the real question. We need to immediately increase our exemption. I brought this to the city manager. In fact, another council member and I up here immediately called him and talked to how do we reinstate this in a legal means so that seniors do get a break. I was one of 2 council members that actually voted against increasing our seniors, increasing the rates on our trash service. So we've been trying as a council to limit the increases on seniors, but our tax exemption was illegal.
All right, thank you. The next question will be for the races close to me. Jimmy, 2 minutes. Sonia and Josh, 1 minute. What are 2 or 3 things you wish were different about Norcross? What is lacking, if anything, and what will you do within your purview to improve it?
So our son says imagination. Where did the imagination go? What about the work ethic? Where did that go? When I was building out B&W, not one person came to my door and said, hey, can we do something for you? Is there something that you need? No, I said I get a stop work order because miscommunication about my paint color. It cost me extra $8,000 as a business owner coming into the city. $8,000 at COVID time frame, pandemic time frame wasn't good for me. I had to paint my building a different color. Even though the color I painted it still fit within the city guidelines, but I didn't like miscommunication between the builder who was supposed to go get the permit, didn't get the permit. I gave him the colors. So we had to rebuild, we had to repaint it. So I think going out and communicating to the people, having the imagination of actually doing something different, going out and getting the communication, getting off your behind and walking out and speaking to people. That's important. If you don't know what the people want, then you can't provide the function for them. Technology is important. We don't utilize technology as much as I think we should. I think with the new blood, sangre in Espanol, we need to go out and get some new blood and get some new concepts and get some new ideas and get some stuff moving forward. Thank you.
Sonia.
Yes, one of the things that I believe that we need to do is, again, like he says, we need to communicate. If we don't communicate, there's no way we're gonna work together. The most important part, I keep repeating, and you might say, there you go, repeating the same thing. But that is the most important part here. If we wanna accomplish whatever we have in mind, we have to do it as a team, working together. Whatever it is, whatever, your idea, invite everybody. Not only this area, all of us. It's a big, beautiful town, a beautiful city, but we working separately. We need to come together to accomplish whatever we desire, whatever you guys desire, whatever you want, we need to work together.
Josh?
Well, the first thing I would have said is that we needed an ice cream shop downtown, but that's already happened. I love that place. One thing that I wanted for a really, really long time was a safe crossing on the railroads at Holcomb Bridge for pedestrians. That's just so perilous to cross right there, and we have improved some of the other crossings, but that one just really sticks out. More bikeability is another one. I wish that we talked at times about biking up and down the railroad corridor. I just would love for this town to be a place where it was a lot easier to ride a bike, and there's a lot of challenges to getting that done. The last thing I'd say is, I wish Norcross was safer for everyone. We've had some break-ins at the Brunswick. People jumped into cars, bashed out windows. I hate to see that. I wish that we had places for people to sleep inside every single night. We've got folks that are sleeping outside at night, and I hate to see that. So I just would love to see Norcross a safer place.
Thank you. We have one more individual race question, and it's only going to be for the first race here. After that, we'll have a series of panel questions as well. But I wanted everybody to have at least one question where they got a chance to speak for 2 minutes. And so the only way to do that, given the math, is to have the first race have 3 questions. So Sonia, you'll have 2 minutes to answer. Josh and Jimmy, 1 minute to respond. What is your opinion regarding annexation of the unincorporated area known as Mechanicsville?
Annexation. My opinion is that whenever we need to do something, we have to talk about it, read the studies. If it's for the best of the constituents and the city, we will have to work on that. But it needs to be for both ends. I will not like to see our community get hurt because we decide to do something. It's a matter of working together and see what will be the best way to do it.
Josh?
I'm a big believer in brand and knowing what your brand is and embracing that brand. And so one thing that I think the city needs to be very careful with is I don't believe that we have to grow to continue to be successful. I believe that we need to know what our brand is and we need to build on that, but I don't necessarily believe that growth is the only way for us to move forward. So I agree with my opponent on this because I think that we need a better understanding of how this is going to affect that community. And I think that there's a lot of ways that this could affect that community for the negative. It's a thriving community. People are doing well. They're taking care of their homes. They're running businesses, and I'm just not positive that the city gobbling that up actually helps them. So I would like a better understanding of that before we move forward.
Jimmy?
I believe the opposite of these two. I believe the annexation would be great for us because there's a lot of business over there. And what that means is with business, there's more tax dollars to the city. That's what's important. It's less tax dollars for homeowners, and the businesses that are going to be there are going to be paying that slack. Therefore, we're the third, 16 cities, we're the third highest in tax dollars. Me as your neighbor, I pay a lot of money in tax dollars. Everybody in this room pays a lot of money in tax dollars. Well, who can subsidize that? Businesses. We need to be at 60-40. 60 business, 40 residential. That is the number. And with that annexation, you get that 60-40. Therefore, the businesses will pay the slack. They will pick it up, and you won't have to pay for it. Woo!
The next question will be another panel question. 2 minutes for each candidate to respond. We'll start down at the far end. And here's the topic. The topic of parking challenges has been raised and discussed repeatedly at many gatherings and meetings with council members. Many ideas have been mentioned, but substantial changes, decisions, and actions to address these problems seem slow. Can each of the candidates share their thoughts about the parking challenges in downtown Norcross, particularly as restaurants and retail stores begin to open in the expansion to the new South End? Describe changes or improvements that have or have not occurred and communicate your thoughts and plans for action. Chuck, we'll start with you down the end.
Yeah, I think we're on our...
And everybody gets 2 minutes, if I didn't make that clear. Everybody gets 2 minutes. That was my fault. I just want to make sure it's clear.
Yeah, I think we're on our third study right now, and some of the studies have said we don't have a problem. Some said that we do have a problem. I think, maybe what it is that we need more signage. We need more opportunities to tell people where to park. I understand that we built 2 garages that people don't use. I've heard from people that stated that if it's not 2 blocks away, they won't walk. So in my opinion, this comes down to you all in terms of what are we going to do about this parking problem. If we're still talking about it 10 years later, we have not resolved a single thing. And maybe it's a mix of things. Maybe it is a parking garage. Although if we do a parking garage, I don't want a big stone monstrosity. I want something that is going to be at least, visual to historic Norcross. And then also included with that, I'm not a fan of paid parking. Sometimes when people hear about smart parking RFP, that implies paid parking. I'm not a fan of paid parking. I think it's just using our resources wisely and allocate accordingly, using signage and new technologies and some other things that we can do. Evaluate what this new study is going to say, get the community together, and finally, please put this debate to rest after 10 years, and let's move forward and fix the problem.
Andrew.
Parking's always a hot topic. It's always a fun topic. The pressure on our parking is because we have a lot of demand and limited supply. We've addressed supply by adding over 250 parking spaces in downtown Norcross, including 90 that are approved and ready to be constructed right now. Implementing smart parking is ideal, but one thing we've also added is 1,000 new rooftops within a mile of this downtown. People can walk if we make it safe for them. People can ride their bikes if we make it safe for them. Parking needs to be a solution. We need to look at a parking deck, and I'm open to any parking options. Like Chuck said, metered parking is not a very fun thing. It's a very hot thing, and how we time that is probably, I need feedback from the citizens about whether or not we have time parking. I've introduced legislation for us to do better signage. I have introduced legislation for a parking deck at City Hall. I've also introduced legislation for metered parking in downtown. Some of those were met with some success, some of them were met without success. But the important thing to remember is we have addressed it. We've added dozens and dozens of parking spaces in Norcross, from the south end, from the 2 decks. We've added parking down here on Bridge Street. We added 10 spaces. I'm in favor of us looking at the Lion Club Park and adding another 10 spaces there. We need a comprehensive solution that addresses our parking, which could include a parking deck if it's best for the citizens of Norcross. And I'm in favor of us addressing this issue, and as Chuck said, putting this to bed until we add another 1,000 houses, and then we'll deal with it again.
Marshall.
Well, I have to agree with my constituents here. We need to all in. We need to take advantage of all in. We need to be going with the downtown development authority, which they passed, this new plan for parking. We need to build a parking deck. We just have to. And we need to do it with a private developer, and we need to do it where it's aesthetically pleasing and has some retail or some restaurant space in the lower part of it. That will attract people to the parking deck and help with the people in, like it known as restaurant, right? Bring people back far downtown. So we need to, I'm all in favor of the Lions Park. I think we ought to be looking at Thrasher Street, making it one way and adding some parallel parking there. So it's an all-encompassing idea. It's all in. That's what it's all going to take. It's going to take every available spot we can come up with. We need every available spot. I've talked to some developers who have said that they have people ready to invest in downtown except for parking. So it's just a simple thing. It's got to be all in. It's got to be all in. Parking deck and everything is included.
Arlene.
Okay, I am not going to reiterate parking. I'm just going to offer solutions. I listened to the businesses at the business debate we had last week, and one solution was to bring back valet parking. Another solution was to do a circular trolley or type of shuttle. Partner with our churches. We have 2 churches that we use right now during Art Fest, where we have our visitors park their cars at the church and they can use a shuttle and come downtown. We can try that. I know most folks are not fans of time parking, but that's something that we can look at. We have existing parking spaces. We need to maximize those spaces. We have the community center, the welcome center, city hall, and the library. And everyone appears in talking about signage, clear signage.
Sonia.
Yes. One of the things that I would like to do is will be introduce a ballot referendum on parking to city councils. We have too many spots, little spots, trying to solve the problem. And I know that is helping. That's part of the solution. But in order to really solve this problem, we must follow what the constituents needs. The business needs this. And it's been going on for many years already. So we're fixing here and there, and it's everywhere. But instead of spending that much money, we can do it in only one spot. So I will introduce a ballot referendum to the city councils for that.
Jimmy.
I've got a couple of ideas. One, definitely we need a parking deck that's aesthetically, that fits the downtown area. Okay, we definitely need that. There's no doubt about that. Everybody's heard that. We've been talking about that for 10 years. So we need to get it done, okay? And then number 2, we have several private parking lots that are here within the city. We have the Carlisle House. We just had this recent event. And I drove by the Carlisle House and the whole parking lot was blocked off. Why can't we not go to the Carlisle House and say, hey, charge for parking or rent their parking during events? Allow them to decide whether or not they want to do something like that. The Harringtons, they have a beautiful parking lot. Let them charge for parking. We don't have to pay for it. It's the outsiders that are coming in deciding whether or not they want to pay for it. If they want to pay for parking, let them pay for parking. Same thing with the parking deck. We're not going to park there. But if somebody's going to come from the outside and they want to pay for parking, let them pay for parking. You're not going to go anywhere as you come further north without paying for parking. And that's not us, it's the outsiders coming in. So I think that's a good solution. There's 3 different solutions right there on the board. I think we can do it.
Josh.
I've got lots of notes on this that I've been scribbling down here. and I'm worried that I'm just not going to get them in the right order, but, you know, there's a lot of groans in the room. We were talking about taxes, and, you know, more parking comes from more taxes. So, you know, I just would say that the city has limited resources. There's a lot more, and I'll probably get tomatoes thrown at me at this, but there's a lot more to Norcross than just our downtown. You know, we have a great community. It ranges over 6.5 square miles. Our downtown's very important. I'm very grateful for the folks that are downtown, but we have, like my opponent says, we have businesses all over the city, and we need more businesses all over the city. And so I think it's a little bit of a tricky topic in that, you know, my family has a business in the city, and guess what? We had to pay for our own parking. So, you know who I'd like to have pay for the parking is the developers. The developers that want to come into our downtown, how about they pay for their parking? You know, the AutoZone has to pay for their own parking. Everybody else has to pay for their own parking. So I just think there needs to be more of a collaboration between the folks that want to come to our downtown and build new businesses and the city in terms of, you know, there is a fine line to walk there. It is nice to have a city center and so on, but just because somebody comes to downtown, does everybody in the room want to pay for a business's parking downtown? You know, that's the question that I've got. So, and there has been a lot that has been accomplished. Like as we mentioned, the 2 parking decks. There's parking coming on South Peachtree. We've got parking optimization coming right here by City Hall. I support the Lions Club, turn that little piece of land turning into some parking. I would like to see parking all up and down the other side of the railroad tracks on Thrasher. People park there anyways for concerts, so let's formalize it and make it safer for them to park.
All right, great, thank you. The next panel question, we'll start down here and then we'll go back. What do you consider the best investments of the Norcross taxpayer dollar to improve the lives of all who live and work in Norcross? Not just property owners and business owners, but renters, employees, and children. And we'll start with you, Josh.
That's a no-brainer. The best investment by far is our police force. I'm really grateful for our chief, Bill Grogan. He is an emissary for his crew. He makes sure they have good cars, they have good equipment, they're safe, they have good training. You know, if you can't have a safe town that you can walk around in at night, I don't want to live here. And so I would say by far the best investment of tax dollars is for our police. Secondly, I keep on coming back to parks, and I apologize, but I just love them because it's a place for people to meet each other. It's a place for kids to play. It's a place for people to get sunshine, vitamin D. It's a place for people to get exercise. And so I would say our police force and parks by far are the best places that our tax dollars have been invested.
All right, Jimmy, 2 minutes.
Josh took my answer. What I do as a previous law enforcement, I've worked law enforcement for 10 years, I'm not sure if you're aware of that, so I do really believe in public safety. Public safety is very important for a city, and if you can't call on your city and they be there in a few minutes, it's important. They need to be there quickly, they need to have the resources to do their jobs, so I do believe in that. And once again, I do believe in the parks, I really do. I think the green space brings families. Families bring unity. Families bring what we need here in this city. You want single-family homes, then the parks is what's going to bring. Thank you.
Sonia?
I have to agree with Josh. The police department, I think, is the best investment in the parks because the parks will help to keep us healthy, take the children to practice bike riding, whatever, walkability. So that is very important to keep us healthy. And for the children to stay away from problems. If they're healthy, they can study better. Our seniors, if they go for a walk, it's good for their health. So those 2 things I think is very good. Plus, I know that the Bill Krogan, our chief, has very good relationship with everybody. When my neighbors call me they have a problem, I call right away and they are there in matter of a few minutes. So I know that is the best investment at this moment. parks and the police department.
Moving down the table, just a refresher on the question, what do you consider the best investment of the Norcross taxpayer dollar to improve the lives of all who live and work in Norcross, not just property owners and business owners, but renters, employees, and children? Arlene.
Okay, I'm going to agree with my peers. Public safety, we have one of the best police departments. We are CALIA certified, and it's a dedicated department that do everything that we've asked of them. Parks is a great investment, especially Pinnacle Park, as my colleague Andrew would always push out Pinnacle Park as one of our top parks. It's on the east side. It's a beautiful park. When I first moved here, that park was derelict. It was run down, and we did it about 5-6 years ago. We finished it, and you guys need to start on the Pinnacle Park. One thing that I'm not hearing is our staff. Without our staff, that's our best investment. Without our staff, this city would grind to a halt. I would put my head on the block for the city of Norcross employees.
Marshall?
Well, the police. I met with Chief Grogan yesterday and asked him what he needed. He said he was a little understaffed, but by and large he was in great shape. And he's well trained, and he's trained his people very well. He's got the mental health liaisons working with them on a daily basis. And he is spot on what he's got going on in this city. So the police are the number one job of the city. Number two is parks. And we've got a great set of parks. My wife, when we first were thinking about moving here, she dreamed of having a park that she could walk to and take her grandkids to. We now have that in Freshman Park. So it's a similar concept to everybody else saying. It's just the Dean Forest has been renovated, Pinnacle Park's been renovated. They've all been done with looking at shade, enhancements to Thrasher Park. So it's just an amazing thing to have. Is the police that are at our beck and call, and they have cameras that surround the city. He said you could look at the map and you couldn't see where there weren't cameras located. You covers the south, covers Norcross like you do. So he's doing a great job. We need to support him in all he can do, and we need to get involved. We need to, as he said, if it's yellow and it quacks and it waddles, it's a duck, and you ought to call it. And so you ought to be calling the police whenever you see anything suspicious to help him, help us.
All right, moving down, again, a refresher. What do you consider the best investment of the Norcross taxpayer dollar to improve the lives of all who live and work in Norcross, not just property owners and business owners, but renters, employees, and children? Andrew.
Chuck and I are probably going to run out of ways to say public safety. But obviously it's public safety. Like Dr. Beckles mentioned, we are police certified. I introduced the first responder program. We've now expanded that to 2 officers. That allows our officers to fight crime, and it decreases recidivism by having resources on site once a scene is secured. This has been miraculous, and now the county has emulated our program. We also have invested in our cars, in police camera and body cameras. Anything that we do to help our police officers move forward. We must continue to invest in our police officers. We've also given them double-digit raises over the past few years. It is hard to keep our police officers. We have to pay them more, and we have to find ways to finance them. Everyone's talking about parks, so I'm going to take a different tact. Our plans, we've invested in plans. Plans are probably frowned on, but plans are required for ARC funding. Plans are required for state grants. Plans are required to submit to our SPLOST program. We have to have plans, but we can't just let them sit on the shelves. Plans, like our LCI study in 2001, led to Lillian-Webb Park. Lillian-Webb Park led to the library. The library led to the Brunswick. The Brunswick success has led to our Buford Highway Master Plan. Investing in plans, although slow, do drive economic development. And I'm proud to have invested in them.
Chuck?
Yeah, I mean, police 100% agree, parks 100% agree, city employees 100% agree. Businesses and schools were 2 items, maybe they were said, maybe I missed it. Those are 2 that are big investments, as well as our public works. But more importantly, all of these are byproducts of investing in you as citizens. And so I think it's very important that we provide those services to you as a citizen of this city and provide those in the way that's most efficient for you. So to me, the way I look at it is any investment we make in any of these is about you and the city and moving us forward.
All right, great, thank you. So now we're going to start another panel question. We'll start down at the end. Chuck, we'll start with you. We'll head down this way. What is your plan to help expedite development at the south end? It's obvious that something is causing delays, as it has been over 2 years since new stores were announced. What can the city do to help prepare rentable spaces for businesses to move into quickly without taking on development risk? Chuck, 2 minutes.
Yes, there's been discussion. I mean, I think at one time the city looked at possibly owning that, and then I know we have a developer now that owns that too as well. I think Marshall said it earlier about working with our developers to come up with a solution and provide something that is great for that area. I mean, we're starting to see the fringe of it. We see what it can be, but I think a city partnership with the developers is going to be really key. Now, I will tell you that maybe not all developers, and I'm not speaking poorly of this one, so please don't take that the wrong way, but not all developers work in a time frame that is in the city's time frame. Sometimes it takes some time to develop, no pun intended, but sometimes we have to just work through those issues and jointly come up with solutions for that. And so what I would like to see us do is continue to work on that, continue to push for that, continue to encourage that. Again, the developer owns that property, and so I think we need to make sure that we're working with them and providing the information they need. And ultimately, at the end of the day, communication is the key. It needs to be two-way communication, and let's go ahead and get it done.
Andrew.
That was well said. I remember when Engine Tech was there, the development for South End was a brownfield development. It required an environmental cleanup. The city offered to help with the environmental cleanup. The DDA offered to help. The developer, to his credit, decided not to utilize that help and move forward on his own. Like Chuck said, developers do not work on the city's timetable. They take their time. What we can do is help in the permitting process. We need to make sure that our permitting is quick and seamless. We need to make sure when they need a site visit, our team goes out there immediately. I thought I probably did. Let me still. Marshall, you're gonna give me this time back? I'm okay with that. Yeah, this sounds a lot better. So our permitting process, but there's other things we need to do to move forward on the south end. I call it the 5 Ps: parking, parks, permitting, power, and placemaking. Placemaking is building a cool spot that people want to visit, such as the Skin Alley lights and Skin Alley's bricks. Parks, we have to be able to be able to cross our railroad tracks to get to the south end from our parks. Power, we have to invest in our power system. We cannot continually have power outages in downtown Norcross. I spoke on the permits. But parking. We've added parking directly across the street from the south end. We hope it'll be developed pretty soon. We also need to talk to the developer. Our current ordinances require that developers develop on-site parking. That probably will not help in this particular situation. It's not large enough. We need to find a way to help this developer and developers throughout the city move forward on parking situations. We need to work on the 5 Ps: parking, placemaking, parks, power, permitting. I talk about it the most. Thanks, y'all.
Marshall, you're up. Marshall.
You're welcome. Glad to be of service to you. So, this is what I've been saying. We've got to be selling. We've got to help the developer, help him sell. We've got to bid out and sell Norcross to other people. Then we have to work with this permit process. When we built our home, our permit took a week to get. It's not taking a week anymore. It's taking much longer than that. We've got to streamline that process. We've got to be Johnny on the spot on inspections and proactive on inspections. We can't let builders get away with building things that don't meet the codes and then calling them out on it too late. So we've got to work with the development office. We've got to get it sold. We've got to help them find tenants. We're the best people to do that. We, the county, we, the city council, and the Office of Development, and the Downtown Development Authority, and the Norcross Development Authority. We're the keys to making this happen.
Arlene.
Okay, in order for us to expedite the south end, it's getting the right mix of development. Okay, we need development that really enhances what we currently have. Developers can come and present several ideas to us. It's up to us as a council and with your input as citizens to accept whatever these developers are offering. Just this week, I saw firsthand how difficult and confusing it was to apply for a special use permit from beginning to end. I have since suggested some process improvements, and I am going to work with the group that puts that process together, and I'll go over and try to modify the steps, but we need to improve the process when it comes to all permitting.
Sonia.
Yes, I think that we need to, first of all, get to know our developers, partnership with them, ask them exactly what they need in order to proceed with the project. Because if we don't do that, we are kind of lost. We have to work together with them and try to get the permits, the license as soon as possible, and try to work with them so that way they can achieve what they're looking for, and everybody, it will be for the best of the community. You know, if they finish on time, the city will flourish better. They will engage with the community, so that's the best way to do it. We have to work together.
Jimmy, 2 minutes.
So I agree with Chuck a little bit on this. You know, you can't force the builder to build in your time frame. You just can't do it. I know my biggest issue building out, besides COVID, building out the B&W was the county. I really didn't have too many issues with the city. The city was pretty seamless, but the county wasn't even there. They're the ones coming out to actually look at your job, to approve it. They're the ones that were sitting at home doing nothing, not answering the phone. I couldn't get them out there. Now, the excuse now, I have no idea what it is now, because they should be back to work. They should be in your office. But you couldn't go knock on the door and say, hey, I need you to go inspect my property. I couldn't do it. They weren't answering the phone. I couldn't find anybody to come out to our job site to check it out, to make sure we continue to move forward. That slowed me up like 7 months. 7 months trying to get the fire marshal. I had to go to the mayor. Thank God for the mayor to help me out on several different occasions, to where he could make some phone calls to the people he knows and get stuff done. When you're building out during COVID, it was ridiculous. There was so many things that I had to go through, not only staffing, but increase in pricing of materials. The metal was like 3 times the amount of dollars. Thank God that my builder bought metal before COVID, because he used 2 sheets. 2 sheets of my metal cost him $500 extra just for 2 sheets. Those sheets were like $100 before. So the increase in pricing with materials is a big issue. So who knows what he's going through, but I do believe the council should go and knock on his door and say, hey, what can we do to help out? What's going on? Is there an issue? Because nobody knocked on my door. Thank you.
Josh, you're next. 2 minutes to you, Josh.
So I'm going to go down memory lane just a smidge here for you, because the engine exchange that was mentioned earlier that was there was owned by the Colquitt family, Johnny Colquitt, and my parents and the Colquitts were good friends way back when. And so my first job outside working for my dad was sweeping kitty litter on the floor of the engine exchange up and cleaning the floor in there. So, you know, that was a contributing business to Norcross for a long time, and I'm grateful for that. You know, you know how I mentioned earlier about developers paying for their own parking? Well, I'm just going to say one thing, and that is that particular parcel used to have a lot of interior parking, and it doesn't anymore. I'm just going to leave it at that. You know, we are a business-friendly city. We held our city staff accountable for making sure that the permits were turned around really quick for that developer, because we definitely, to Mr. Redding's point, didn't want to be the ones holding up that development. So we worked really quickly to get them what they needed. Like Councilmember Andrew mentioned, the DDA partnered with them to do a loan for cleanup, which they ended up not needing. Currently, the DDA is working to try to make sure that we optimize that property. There's a pretty cool connection on the one side of that to a potential extension of Skin Alley. So could be a really neat backbone of Skin Alley that we connect into that parcel. And that's all I've got to say on that.
All right, great, thank you. Another panel question, this time we'll start down here and head down the other direction. How would you address the entertainment piece of the city budget? Attendance is dropping for our summer concerts, or people are leaving due to poor quality bands. Josh, you're up, 2 minutes.
You know, like Councilmember Andrew said, the hotel and motel tax funds a lot of these events, and it's specifically designed to try to drive visitors to Norcross. The great thing about it, if we can get people here, then they fall in love with this place and they come back, they spend money at our restaurants, they come back for our festivals. You know, I don't know, I'm sort of coming up blank on this. I mean, I do think that we need to make sure that what we're offering is what people want. And so that means that we have to be listening. Some other folks up here have talked about the importance of listening. We've got a town hall meeting coming up here soon to do some listening about the new public safety building. So, you know, I just would say that I think what we need to do is find out what it is that people are asking for entertainment, and then make sure that's what we're providing, and not asking just one part of our community, asking all of our community.
Jimmy, you're next.
So I would run it like I do my business. One, I think tax dollars are important. So when somebody wants to come and play, they have to do an audition. That audition is free. Come in and do an audition. Let the people decide whether or not they like you. If they like you, we'll bring you back. But all I see is the same shows. It's like a record player. It's the same stuff every time. When have you ever seen merengue, bachata? Has anybody ever had that show? No one's brought the Latin community into this side. Not to mention, the Latin community is great for diversity. Half my family is Hispanic. They would love to go to a show to see some merengue, bachata, salsa, something different. But all we have is the same shows. That's why your attendance is going down. That's what would happen at my business if I brought the same shows, because everybody already saw them. It's just like any other band. You're bringing the same band all the time, every week. It's the same stuff. Nobody wants to see the same stuff. They want to see some different stuff. Bring it in. Let's see it. Let's see what you got. Bring in some different people. Thank you.
2 minutes.
Yes, like I mentioned before, diversity does matter. And we need to invite everybody and bring different groups of music, we are so rich in culture. Why we concentrate on only one topic? We need to enlarge. We need to have different music. We don't have to just have concert. We can have folkloric dance from Greece, from Indonesia, from wherever. Diversity does matter. We have multicultural residents, multilingual. We have to work and take advantage and learn different cultures. We don't want to see the same thing over and over, because this is not only one group of ethnic that lives in this city. We are diverse, and we have to put it together for everybody feel free to come and join. And that will be the best way to spend the tax money.
Arlene, how would you address the entertainment piece of the city budget? Attendance is dropping for our summer concerts where people are leaving due to poor quality bands. 2 minutes.
Well, this is where the Beijing in me is going to come out, because I do love a carnival. I say expand the lineup. We have the same bands on rotation. I myself have asked for a Caribbean festival type event for the last 3 years. Just imagine a carnival type, not the New Orleans type, but a West Indian carnival event at Pinnacle Park. Pinnacle Park sits in the heart of our diversity here in Norcross. So again, I would like to see, I know my resident over here from Jamaica would second me in that, I would love to see a Caribbean lineup.
Marshall, 2 minutes.
Well, unfortunately, we let one person pick the bands. There was one person charged with that on staff. We've got to expand that. And there was a salsa band that was scheduled to perform this year and got rained out. That was unfortunate. But we are having the same bands every week, and it is getting to be a drag. And they're not very good on top of that. So we need to expand the number of staff members that are involved in selecting the bands. We can't just leave it to somebody to guess what we all like. So we've got to expand the diversity of the bands, expand the diversity of the cultures, and expand the selection. So we've got to expand the selectors so that we can expand the selections, right? Pretty simple concept.
Andrew, how would you address the entertainment piece of the city budget? Attendance is dropping for our summer concerts or people are leaving due to poor quality bands. 2 minutes.
Chuck and I kind of already addressed a little bit about this, so I'll focus a little bit on where we were and how we got to where we are. We do spend money on our events. We've had increased competition. Peachtree Corners now has a downtown center where they're having bands. Thankfully, we've worked with them to not have their concerts on the same nights. We spent $30,000 on the last band, the last concert. That was a huge hit. We need to spend more. We need to spend more of our hotel motel dollars, which are people that come and stay in our city, to move forward and get, as Marshall and everyone else has said, a little more diverse band. We did have a salsa band. I tasked the city manager 3 years ago with having a more diverse group, and I specifically asked for a Spanish language group. We haven't got a German language group yet, but we're going to stick with the Spanish language. It was rained out, which was unfortunate. But all of this comes to placemaking. It cannot just be about bands. We have to have a place where people want to come and stay. We need people to come and cross our railroad tracks from Thrasher Park. We need people to stay in downtown, get dinner down there. We have to have people from out of town that are coming to our parks, or coming to our concerts, to have an easy place to park. We need people to be able to come and celebrate our concerts. They do need to be better. After parking in parks, I swear people give me feedback about the concert bands, and you cannot please everybody. We're going to have someone that says, I love Bob Seger. We're going to have someone else that says, I love Bruno Mars. It's hard to find a median between those two. But we probably should increase our selection committee. We probably should look at that, and we should find a way to make sure that the bands that we're paying perform up to our standards.
Chuck, 2 minutes.
I've got an easy solution. To tell the good bands is when you wake up on Saturday morning and the citizens smell like wine and muscle cream from all the dancing they do. That's how you tell it's a really, really good band. No, honestly, I agree with you. I think all of our bands, I think this year I said I felt like they were mostly wedding bands. And they play songs that everybody knows and likes, but there's just some consistency to it. I agree with more diversity bands. I'm certainly in favor of paying more for bands if there's a return on that dollar, if the people are coming into our cities, spending in our restaurants and all of those things. Some of the bands that we had, I think of 3 or 4 that were really, really, really good, and some of the others just seemed to be middle. Now, can you hit on every single band? That might be tough, but certainly we should hit on most, especially with the dollars that we're spending. And of course, if we can bring people into our neighborhoods, we can have those concerts similar to Peachtree Creek and others, and Peachtree Corners, So.
All right, great, thank you. One more panel question, we'll start down in the end, Chuck. Gwinnett County continues to raise our property values and property taxes every 3 years. Why doesn't the city reduce the millage rate to give relief to the homeowners?
It's a great question, And I think that the council
Well, it came from the public, right? That's the great part about tonight.
It's a great, if it hasn't come across, I'm a big tax guy on this, so you're welcome, Janae, over there. So anyway, no, I think the city has tried to look at that and reduce that over the time that is there. I mean, do we pay higher taxes? Absolutely. I think a part of that, though, is the makeup of what we are, again, and that's the 60-40 split. We try and getting more businesses back into our community here to offset some of that residential tax burden. If we can get more entertainment dollars spent to bring in more people to come and visit, to increase that, to help our businesses to grow the tax base. There's a lot of ways we can do it. I think and I'll give credit to the current council and the past councils, I think they try to do their best they can with what they have available. Could we do better? Absolutely. But I think it comes down to refocusing on the model that we have right now and where we get our tax dollars and how we spend those tax dollars. As long as we can do that, hopefully we can try to negate any sort of increases to the best of our ability. But at the same time, we want services that are first class, and I think they are first class. So there's always that dividing line, and I think it's always looking at budgets, and it's always getting a return on investment. I cannot emphasize that enough about getting that return on that investment on each dollar spent, and then try to increase our business revenue. Plus look at target industries. We have a target industry study that's coming up. If we can bring in some biomed companies, software companies, other companies to increase some of that business tax base, I think that'll help us too as well.
Thank you. Andrew, 2 minutes.
Lowering the millage rate is always something we all want to do. We also have heard up here that we all want public safety and parks and parking. We have to balance this. I have had the pleasure of serving for over 10 years as a city council member. There is no waste going on in our city. We have a very lean government. We respect every dollar that you honor, that you give us to utilize. One way that we can actually help lower our millage rate is to increase our power. We sell power to outside sources. We sell it to Cumming. I mentioned Amazon. We sell it to Publix and Tucker. Doing more of this helps us offset our current millage rate. The average house gets a $120 break on their millage, their overall taxes, because of our power system. We need to do economic development to increase that so we're in business to sell power as a power company. We need to increase the power we sell. And as we do this through economic development, we can lower our power rates and ideally lower our millage rate. But as Chuck said, we have great services. Having to manage that, we have given our employees pay raise after pay raise to keep up because we could not keep employees. We did a pay study that cost us $800,000 a year to get everyone up to market value so that we would not lose employees. We are struggling to keep our linemen because they are paid a time and a half to go to a contractor that still works in the city of Norcross. We need to invest in our people. Unfortunately, our property values are going up because we've created a great place. We need to lower our millage rate in connection with our increased property values so that we can provide the maximum value to the citizens of Norcross. If elected again, I will do everything I can to keep our budget in line, not let it grow, and to minimize our overall tax burden.
Marshall, Gwinnett County continues to raise our property taxes every 3 years. Why doesn't the city reduce the millage rate to give relief to the homeowner?
Well, they voted to keep the millage rate the same this year, and I actually supported that. Because we do need the additional revenue for services. We've got to keep funding the police force, and we've got to keep funding our city staff. And our staff is of utmost importance to the service you receive. And so their pay has to be commensurate with private industry. We continue to lose people, and we continue to fight to save who we have. So we really need the money. We really do. And it is unfortunate that it's come to this, but it has. This is the Great Recession, the Great Resignation, where everybody's out working. And so we're fighting to save every job we can. So we need the revenue. Now, hopefully in the years to come, when inflation's under control, then we can cut it back. But right now, I'm a proponent of keeping the millage rate where it is, and to spend this money to increase your services and increase the pay of our staff.
Arlene, 2 minutes.
I don't need 2 minutes, I have a solution. Bringing more businesses, that's number one, and we can do that by annexation. The reasons for our tax increase, listen, inflation is up, GDP is up, and the county service delivery, they went up, okay? So with everything else, of course, our tax rates are gonna go up. But we did hold our tax digest steady from 2021 at a rate of 6.749. We reduced it in 2022 and brought it down to 6.249, and that's what it remains at right now. So again, with everything going up, of course, we're going to see an increase in our tax digest, but we're keeping it level for this year.
Sonia, Gwinnett County continues to raise property taxes every 3 years. Why doesn't the city reduce the millage rate to give relief to the homeowner?
It will be good if they make it less or keep it the same, but I think we should concentrate in getting more business because, or annexation. The city is making money, good profit on selling the electricity, but at the same time, one section of Norcross suffer for many power outage. So we have to know and find out why is that. So if we concentrate on selling the electricity and we're making part of the community suffer from the power outages, so I think we should concentrate and promote more new business that is going to make revenue for the city.
Jimmy, 2 minutes.
I've got a two-part solution. One, we have to take a little bit of that burden on ourselves and fight the county. I had to hire a company. I have 23 rental properties. I had to hire a company to go out there and fight the county on their millage rents because they're getting out of control. They just keep increasing. So that's what I'm doing. They're winning. You know, the company I hired, they're winning and they're beating the county. So I'm ahead on that side. Secondary, I believe with Dr. Beckles, that annexation project that they had should have been voted forward. We should have been getting those businesses on board, and we should be taxing those companies, and those companies could be helping us and relieving us from paying those extra taxes.
Josh, 2 minutes.
You know, the annexation area has got residential in it, but it also has businesses in it. But some of the studies that we did showed that there would be some net loss, at least to start off with, and maybe even for a while. So it's a little tricky as to be able to say that the annexation would just definitely mean that we had more tax money. You know, what I'm worried about is that our Buford Highway Master Plan contemplates, on some level, taking thriving businesses on Buford Highway and replacing them with residential. Well, that's not really going to do great stuff in terms of keeping us in the right track for having that 60-40, that target 60-40 residential to business balance. You know, we did lower taxes last year. We did lower taxes. So, you know, I've lived in the house over here in North Peachtree for 20 years, and for a long time the county just wasn't that religious about going around and doing assessments. And it was nice. The taxes are really low. And, but then they got real religious about it. And, you know, what else happened is we had some massive inflation happen. And, you know, I was just a little guy back in 1980 when the savings and loan thing happened, but that's the last time we saw inflation happen on this level. I believe the inflation level that we've really seen over the last 3 or 4 years is 30%. So yeah, it is shocking, but the purchasing power of your dollar just changed overnight. And so your house is worth more, but if you went out to go buy another house, it costs a lot of money too. So, you know, that really sucks for people that are on fixed income. And you know, in a way, you almost wish that property values weren't going up. You know, it's a wild idea, but what if we purposely try to keep property values low, but nobody wants that because they want to get a nice return on their house. So, you know, I just would say that the city runs things very efficiently. We do not waste money. We have great staff that make sure that they use up every last bit of goodness, and we're smart with how we spend your all's money, and we take it seriously.
All right, excellent. So it is 7:45. No more questions from me. Everybody gets 2 minutes to give a closing statement. Say what you want. To the extent you didn't get a question that one of the other races got, now's your chance to address it. We did a coin flip, as I mentioned earlier. We'll start with the first race closest to me. Sonia, you're up. 2 minutes.
The reason why I'm asking you for this support and this historic campaign is because the city needs a representative who will focus on the roots of Norcross. There is multicultural, multilingual, diverse, and I believe I have the capacity, the motivation, and the attitude to fight and achieve our purpose. Elections are November 7 and early voting October 16 through November 3rd. Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Josh, you're up. 2 minutes.
Thanks, Jim. I just want to say, before I get into any sort of detail, I'm so grateful for city staff who, again, have made this event possible. I see them scurrying around, adding chairs and making sure everybody's comfortable. Certainly thankful to you, Jim, for your moderation. Thankful for you all. I wasn't sure what the turnout was going to be tonight. This is awesome to see this many folks come out, and everybody's been very attentive and kind, and I really appreciate that. This is so wonderful, and that's part of why I'm so thrilled to call Norcross home. I want to go down memory lane a little bit. My folks moved to Norcross in 1978. I was 1 year old. I grew up here. We would come play on, I call it the dangerous toys. You had the slide that was made out of metal, and you'd go down super fast, and it was hotter than heck. And the tires that might have yellow jackets in them on the playground, and the swings that you could really swing way high up. And my family would come out here, and we would walk across the railroad tracks and put pennies on there and come back later and see how flat the train got. And we took all of our pets to Dr. Woods. We'd walk down Academy Street here and see Mrs. Lillian Webb's house. And my dad would tell us stories right in the front yard of Academy Street here. And so, Norcross is just a special place for me. But there's a lot of other people that I hope it's a special place for too. And I'm so grateful for the time that I've had on the council. I would love to have more time on the council. I'd love to carry that context and that story forward. I'd like for there to be somebody up here standing right in my same seat at some point, sharing those same stories with you guys of memories, wonderful memories that they've made in Norcross growing up, and they're still here. They're still here to represent the community and stay involved.
Jimmy, 2 minutes.
First of all, I'd like to appreciate everybody coming out. It is amazing that you all did come out and spend your time with us and listen to what we have to say. I would like to say I'm going to be able to represent the homeowners and the business associations. I think that's important. I think it's important on both sides to be able to have full representation of everybody. And I think it's a very good idea that we continue to be diverse, continue to have our charm of our city downtown, keep it the way it is, and work forward towards the Beaufort Highway Initiative. I think that's very important, along with parking, along with the park space, all these things, and keep our police staff the way it is, keep our staff in itself funded, and keep the buildings continue to move forward. I just think that it's important that we represent everybody. Thank you very much.
Arlene, 2 minutes.
First of all, thank you. Your presence is heartwarming. I have no blood family in this room, but I have friends and family in all of you. Thanks, Jim. Another great debate season. Everything rises and falls on leadership. That was a quote by John C. Maxwell. In an election campaign, this quote emphasizes the critical role of leadership in guiding a community such as ours. It is suggested that the outcome of the election and ultimately the prosperity of its people hinges on strong and effective leaders who make informed decisions. We inspire positive change. So when you cast your vote, remember that the future of our community depends on the leadership you choose. Make it count. Thank you.
Marshall, 2 minutes.
Thanks again for your attendance and the PDC for hosting this event. I would like to close by saying once again what an honor it's been to just run for this office. Serving the community has always been a part of my adult life. As a Sunday school teacher, a mentor to Georgia Tech students, a youth sports coach, and a PTA representative to the legislature. I will continue to move forward and advance forward. I'm committed to making positive changes that will shape the future of our beloved city. I'm committed to making the city the kind of place where everyone is welcome. Young singles, young families, up to and including our retirees. I'm committed to collaborating with other city councilmen to get things done. I'm committed to selling Norcross to developers who will build the kind of products that we desire, to restaurants that we would like to eat, to retail that fits in with our existing themes. I will work with the Downtown Development Department, the Norcross Development Authority, and the Office of Business Development to ensure that we are doing the best to bring quality growth to our city. I'm not just a candidate. I'm your neighbor who cares deeply about your city's future. I promise to be involved in all aspects of the city. I will be visible, accessible, and responsive to your concerns. I will continue to support you at PDC, at Coffee with Council, at the concert, at the car shows, the art shows, and anywhere else that the city has an active role. I will be there for you. I'm committed to supporting our city manager. As a CEO of Paulson Cheek, I have spent countless hours coaching managers on how to improve themselves. I know how to lead. The way you tell if you lead is to turn around and see who's following. And I have 300 employees that are following me every day. So I can do this through policies and direct involvement with city managers. Together we can create a brighter and more prosperous future for Norcross. Together we can build a vibrant community that leaves no one behind and celebrates all that we do.
Andrew, 2 minutes.
All right, we got to get our little switcheroo here. Thank you all for coming. Thank you, candidates, for coming. It's an honor to share the stage with you. It's been grateful. I'm grateful we got to be up here. We've come a long way as a city. We've taken strides to bridge Beaufort Highway, active steps to being an inclusive city. We've accomplished much in the area of economic development. I've been honored to serve as your representative for over 10 years. The process we started is never over. It doesn't need to be reimagined. It needs to continue and to accelerate. Nobody is standing on past successes. We're building on past successes. What some people consider historical biases, I call institutional knowledge. Moving forward requires that we proactively address issues. We will ensure our public safety. We will maximize economic development, grow our downtown, and attract new businesses. We will connect our parks and green spaces with planned trails in the Big Ruin Creek Greenway. We will modernize our infrastructure by burying our power lines, lowering our power rates, and selling to customers outside of our service area. We will update and replace our stormwater systems and attract the best officers to guard us. A vote for me is a vote that acknowledges that leadership builds on successes. A vote for me is a vote for proactive engagement, and a vote for me is a continued promise to represent your quality of life. In the past 10 years, we've added 1,000 new houses. I've been honored to partake in that. We will move forward as a community. This is the best place to raise your family. I love being here. I love being able to walk the dog, walk my dog. I love being able to ride my bike. I rode my bike here. Since 2015, I have never drove a car to a Norcross City Council. This is the best place for you to be, and I'm glad you're here. And I hope you can imagine the best you. Yep, the Imagination Proclamation, which I have the honor to sign, finishes this way. We can be sure that those that live, work, and play in Norcross will truly know in their hearts it's a place to imagine. I would only add one thing. It's a place for all, and I mean all of us, to thrive.
Chuck, 2 minutes.
Yes. I would like to thank PDC, Jim, and the citizens for showing up tonight. It's truly a blessing to see you all here, show up, take your time. And I can't tell you what an honor it is to have the opportunity to represent this city and Norcross and help us move forward. Hopefully I've covered most of the components of my plan tonight to your satisfaction. My only request would be, if I have not, please go to my website, or better yet, give me a call. I'm happy to go through each one of those elements, discuss them with you, and how I think they can benefit you as a citizen. As I discussed, this program moving forward is not about I, it is about we. We will be the voices that move this forward. It takes all of us to move things and make things successful, and I think we can build upon the success that we already have. That includes forming a cohesive government, one that cooperates together, works closely together, and incorporates the ideas and visions of its citizens. And I really think that is capable under our leadership moving forward. And hopefully, come November 7th, when the vote is positive for me, we will prove that. I will work diligently on your behalf. I will be happy to communicate. I will be transparent. Be more than happy to communicate as a council member to you of what is going on, what is happening, and how we can help make things better. I ask you to vote for me in the upcoming election, and I appreciate all that you do. I do want to thank another group of people before I leave, and that is our first responders, our military employees, our doctors, everybody, teachers, everybody that's involved with keeping us safe and keeping us effective. God bless you, and God bless the city of Norcross. Appreciate the opportunity.
Thank you, Chuck. What a novel concept. Informative, constructive, and pleasant political debate. How about that, right? So I did want to thank our timekeeper. If you wake up tomorrow morning and your shoulder is sore, talk to Chuck Paul. Thanks to PDC. Thank you, Chuck. But guys, 7 awesome people. Thanks a ton for everything you've done. Please stick around and answer any whatever questions we got left. How about a round of applause for our candidates? Good night, everybody.